Hey everyone, how y'all doing? Reading more. There are treasure inside this book, World Hunt. Um, Gilbo asked me to read this treasure book, so that's what I'm doing, and we will read it and go from there. So I know it was a really big hit when this did come out. Hey Mustang, how you doing? Good to see you. So this is what I want to do. So rather it was the Champa carefully study of attack in the defense, Hindu preparation for the afterlife, or Kilmer interact building of Inca. One thing is for sure, none of these cultures were winging it. I reflect on this fact as I held those rings in my hand one last time before placing them in our treasure box. As I looked down at our rings, I also thought of the person I was fulfilled with gratitude. Hey, Louise. She put a tremendous amount of dedication to her career in creating her collections of 100 gold rings. It was as if her care and preparation had somehow conspired to make those luring rings even more beautiful. From where she began as a journalist to becoming influential of art, she uh, portrayed exceed expectations. Certainly, her career was a far cry from the story about my first job after college graduation. While she create a beautiful and timeless collections, a messed recurring nightmare, but her lessons, hard lessons, are sometimes the ones best learned. And I did discover a valuable treasure that night of my wayward presentation. I locate a realization that had been completely hidden from me. If I really wanted something of worth, I need to respect myself enough to properly plan and prepare in order to achieve it. If you are reading this book hoping to find treasure I hidden, I believe she might suggest not to wing this. She probably advised to not rush through these pages. She might encourage you to get to know these stories, to consider their content, and to not dismiss any details. She might even say this is a good strategy when looking for anything we seek. I agree. This principle holds true with most any treasure we pursue. The more you and I focus on things we desire, the more we understand ourselves in relation to it. And the easier to become to chart a course to where we need to go. Of course, such focus takes a bit of effort and it requires bringing alternative to details. For me, this last fact is particularly hard. I find dealing with details to be one of my greatest challenges in life. I have always preferred a 30,000 feet view, creating this treasure hunt and writing this book more than anything I have ever done has forced me to face the weakness of my head on. Although I've yet to tell him this strictly, one of the men in our next chapter helped me by inspiring me through his own work, his meticulous attention to his craft, provide example I could follow. He is a true master of details. He was the one who, with the metal and fire, forged each of our 5 treasure boxes. Precision that went into the creation of each treasure box is truly amazing. Over the course of 18 months, Seth Gold showed me firsthand how the act of making something wonderful is a root in one's willingness to attend to details and comprise that thing from the finer point. Beauty emerges. I come to understand that there is a quite element and joy in that. A puzzle box, a beautiful glass, and the mystery egg. Joy is in the detail. In the photograph, the smallest thing can be the greatest subject. The little human detail can become lucrative. Henry Carter Bresson. Japan is a culture alive with details. Now, the Japanese took in more pride being exactly in their art, engineering, and service. The quality are so much of what makes Japan special, and why once I finally visit, I almost never return home. It was late 2015, and a few months prior, I hit a creative wall after working for several years in the music industry, and grind had worn me down. My joy was gone. I still loved the music, but I was exhausted, and I need a vacation badly. A friend of mine who happened to be visiting from out of town suggests to go to Japan. When he said this, I stared blankly at him for a moment. I knew nothing about Japan. I have never considered traveling there. Yet he carried a certain knowing in his voice that I couldn't help but detect. The following week, I bought a one-way flight to Tokyo. For the first time, it took to land and arrive at my hotel room. I have fallen in love. Tokyo is the most popular city in the world. Its landmass, it's enormous. Its sky are spectacular. Yet there is no pollution, little traffic, and almost no noise. Subways run seemingly everywhere, with trains that arrive every 3 minutes. They are never late. Eat at the five-star restaurant or visit a local 7-Eleven, and you can expect the same politeness and similar quality of service. You like technology? Tokyo has the latest and the most creating cutting edge. You prefer nature. Dozens of incredible, well manicured gardens are there to visit. And the food, don't get me started. I'll never finish this book. After 2 weeks in Tokyo, I called Kimberly and convinced her to come join me. She fell in love too. We decided to take our first trip from Tokyo out to a little town named Hukon. Hukon. You might have heard Hukon. It's famous for its nature mineral baths, scenic beauty nestled below luscious green mountains. But there is another thing this beauty place is also known for its fine craft wooden puzzle boxes. Japanese puzzle boxes are perfectly Japanese, fine horticulture, wooden inlay design decorated the surface of smooth six-side boxes with no obvious or discern way to open. You must slide its panel to discover the way in. Each box has its own combinations of movement to hold a Japanese puzzle box in your hand. is to feel a part of refined attraction to details that makes Japanese so special. There is a binding joy in the detail. Movements required to open one. Kimberly and I were so enormous by these Japanese puzzle boxes we saw in Hukon that we bought several gift boxes for friends and family and few for ourselves. To boot, after we returned at least to Los Angeles, those puzzle boxes were typically at our dinner parties for many months to come. Meanwhile, about 6,000 nautical miles east of Japan and 40 miles northeast of Asheville, North Carolina, lies another small town tucked away into the mountains, this place named Bakersfield. And the people who live there enjoy scenic green mountains not too dissimilar to Hokkien, Japan. In Bakersfield lives a young man whose attention to detail is par with some of the greatest artists in the world. He spends much of his time in his humble blacksmith studio, craft tools. Those tools are sought after fellow builders and artists from around the world. His tools are widely popular because they're a combination of utilities and special made. The 5 treasure boxes that now safe keep are complete treasures. When mapping out this hunt, one of the most difficult riddles for me to solve was how to acquire 5 treasure boxes of suitable size, craftsmanship, and value to match content they would hold. I had no interest in chests that were glorified containers from the jump. I wanted each treasure box to be original, describable, and well crafted as the treasure item they would hold. I wanted each treasure box to be treasure piece of itself. I sourced the boxes for weeks. I scoured every auction house. I networked through a large list of private sellers and brokers. I considered hundreds of boxes designed throughout thousands of years made by dozen culture, yet I never found one box that seemed like it belonged. I concluded that my only opinion would be to commission our treasure boxes to be built. But who could do this? I had no clue. As my realization continued, its very own solution, the very next day after deciding to have our boxes made, I came across a box that looked to be a masterpiece. It resides in Smithsonian American Art Museum. The box even has a name. It's called Copper. It was unlike anything I ever seen. Copper is nearly 2 feet long. It is forged from iron, brass, and steel. It looks like a small fortress. In addition to the careful craftsman and bold beauty, Copper is also a puzzle box. My mind immediately traveled back to Japan. I wonder if Seth had visited there. Indeed, he had. Seth had also become fascinated by the Japanese puzzle box. When he returned from Japan to North Carolina, Seth decided to create a new spin on the traditional Japanese box. Instead of wood, he would use metal instead of the sliding pedal. Seth would engineer a variety of dynamic entrants and challenge the box would be open. Like every traditional Japanese puzzle box, he would ensure each working component was made by hand. It took Seth 3 years to build an engineered copper box before it went on display in the Smithsonian. It was obvious to me that Seth Gould was the person to build our treasure boxes. My first conversation with Seth lasted quite a while. I made sure he knew I grew up in North Carolina and that I had lots of family who lived not too far from him. I told Seth I thought his work was stunning and bold, and dole out compliments for sure, but I meant every one. When I finally explained the treasure hunt to Seth, he agreed to clear much of his schedule for the next year to work our 5 boxes. I now owe Seth such a debt in gratitude. So what Seth created for us exceed all of my initial expectations. As you notice, once you read part 2 of this book, the overall design of our largest treasure box shown above combination design element from each of the other 4 boxes. Yellow brass illuminated inside the top edge, design made by steel. Ornaments, it's on the center locking panel. It is forged from texture iron. This treasure box, like all 5 of the boxes Seth has made for us, is also a puzzle box. There is 7 action required to open it. When you find this box, I invite you to have fun trying to discover the secret to unlocking it. That the joy of the puzzle box, after all, however, if you can't or don't want to figure it out, there is no reason for you to damage the box trying to get inside. I left instructions with the box explaining exactly how to execute the 7 steps to open it. All 5 boxes are handsome, fun, and functional, one-of-a-kind piece of art. Each box had its own distinct detail, personal. Unfortunately, it is not possible to fully present it with pictures to quality to Seth Gould masterpiece. If you like to see some more behind the scenes images and video of our boxes being made, you can see Seth Gould Instagram. He documents some of the progress along the way. As example, Seth's obsession with details in the inlay design work of one of our boxes requires Seth to do no less than 250,000 chisel marks upon its surface, which he sent me a video of the process. I joked with him that his attention to detail might drive a lesser person madness. Well, I'm going to stop there, and I'll read more another time. Hey, thanks for coming, Mustang. Louise, thanks for coming. And I'll talk to you guys all later. Bye now.